Hey, good morning, students. Mr. Short here. This is the week of January 25th, and this week we'll be talking about the second two components that make up a computer, that is processing and storage. If you recall, last week we talked about the first two components that make up a computer, and that's inputs and outputs, and I'll briefly review what those are. Remember, we talked about inputs being really anything that allows you to put information or data into a computer. Those are things such as a keyboard. You can type information into a computer, or a mouse allows you to click and move things within a computer. Another thing that we talked about last week being an input is a microphone. Okay, a lot of laptops and our smartphones have microphones, allow us to speak into them. Outputs, reviewing outputs from last week. Output is just kind of the opposite of an input. It's things or components that allow you to take something from the computer. That would be stuff like screens. Your screen on your Chromebook or a laptop, a MacBook, or your screen on a smartphone. That's an output device. A printer is another output device. That's stuff that allows you to take send information from a computer to a printer and take that out of the computer. And another one is speakers. Speakers is another form of an output device. All right, so this week we're going to talk about the other two components of a computer, and that is processing and storage. Okay, we're going to learn this week that a lot of times, a lot of computers or Chromebooks or smartphones just by looking at them, look the exact same. But they don't function the same, and they certainly don't cost the same amount of money. And the difference in those is the amount of storage and how fast those computers or smartphones process information. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about this week. One thing I want to make note of, again, this is January 25th week. You will be getting progress reports this week. Okay. There's some of you that are going to have some zeros on your progress reports for assignments that have not been turned in yet. Now keep in mind, this is just a progress report. I am giving you the opportunity to make those zeros up. But I went ahead and put those zeros in the grade book to make you aware of them, to kind of catch your attention. Okay, I didn't want to not put a grade in there and then it looked like you either you've completed the assignment or I just haven't graded it yet. If I haven't received it from you, I went ahead and put a 0 in there to bring your attention to that assignment that you need to complete. Okay, so this week I want you to take an opportunity, once you've completed the assignments for this week, I want to make sure that you are getting caught up with any assignments that you have not completed yet. Anything that you have in the grade book that's a 0, I want you to make sure that you're getting those things knocked out and completed so we can stay on top of our grades. All right, so let's take a look at this week. Okay, the message you're listening to right now is going to be in weekly message from Mr. Short. Okay, then we're going to look at objectives. The objectives for this week. Okay, students will be able to define processing as the work done, possibly by computer, to turn an input into an output. Okay, think about that. Processing is the work done inside of a computer that takes an input. And remember, we learned last week what an input was. Okay, you're typing information into a computer, you're speaking into a computer, you're moving your mouse to click things in a computer. So the work done to take that input and turn it into an output. Okay, so let's look at that. Let's think of an example. Okay, if I'm in a Google Doc and I'm going to write a message, or I'm in an email and I'm going to send you an email, I'm going to type on my laptop into the computer. So I'm typing. That is an input. The computer itself, now this is going to seem really fast, okay, but this is actually processing information. The keystrokes that I'm making on the keyboard is going into the computer and producing letters and words, numbers, sentences on the screen in the document. Okay, what's showing up on the screen in the document is an output. So what's happening between the time I type and the time it shows up on the computer? That seems almost instantaneous. It happens instantly. But what happens to make that work is processing. Okay, that is what processing is. And the faster processor you get, the quicker those processes take place. All right, the second objective, define an algorithm as a series of commands a computer uses to process information. An algorithm is a series of commands a computer uses to process information. So these two objectives you're going to see next week. That's why I'm going to go over them again, okay? Processing is the work done by a computer to turn an input into an output, and an algorithm is a series of commands a computer uses to process information. You're going to see those again next week on the quiz. So I'm just going to go ahead and let you guys know, okay? So we're going to click Next. This week's vocabulary, the exact same thing our objectives are, guys. That's why it's important that you know these. It's our vocabulary, and it's the things you need to learn as objectives. Processing is the work done, possibly by a computer, to turn an input into an output. Algorithm, a precise sequence of instructions for processes. In computer science, these processes can be executed by a computer. Okay, that's your vocabulary for this week. Then you're going to have your fourth journal entry. This is your only assignment, graded assignment for this week. Okay, journal entry number 4 says, so far we've explored what inputs and outputs mean in the context of a computer. This week, we're going to look more closely at processing. Give several examples of how a computer processes information that is inputted into it. I've already given you one example in this message today, okay? Taking a Google Doc or an email, typing into the computer, which is an input, and it producing something, okay? So I've already given you one example. This is worth 5 points, okay? Like always, you're just going to click Submit Assignment. You're going to type into the text box, and then you're going to click the blue Submit Assignment button again, okay? So I want you to give me several examples of how a computer processes information that is inputted into it. Then we're going to close up by watching this Khan Academy and Code.org video about storage and processing. This is a good job of giving you visual representation of what storage and processing looks like in a computer. All right. Again, if you guys have any questions, shoot me an email, shoot me a message in Canvas. I'll be happy to help you. You guys that are remote learners that are at home, it's important that you watch these videos. It's important that you make sure you're contacting me if you have any questions. Okay, starting next week, for you guys that have multiple zeros, I'm going to be contacting parents. I'm going to be emailing you guys. So I'm giving you an opportunity this week to get those assignments completed before I call home. I don't want to have to my first phone call home to be because you're missing work. Okay, I want it to be, hey, you're doing great in class. Keep up the good work. All right, so I hope you guys have a great day. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. Okay, have a good day. Thanks, and bye.